Hey everybody, I'm Jack, and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. I am having a beautiful day here in South Alabama, albeit cold. It was 32 degrees this morning, that's zero, freezing for you guys in Celsius, and I don't use much heat. I turn the heat on in the morning just to warm the house a little bit, and then it's off. So right now it's 64 degrees or 18 degrees here in the house. But I'd rather just bundle up than spend a lot of money on heating for the winter, so there you go. Today I want to talk about why I went raw vegan and why I stay raw vegan. Guys, I do videos every day, so if you haven't already done it, please go down there and hit that red subscribe button right now. Then click on the little bell and check send notifications so you'll stay subscribed to the channel. Why I went raw vegan. How did I go down this rabbit hole in the first place? Well, I'll go back a little bit, and people that have followed me for a while, you'll just have to be patient. I'll tell a little backstory. I'd been a drunk for 30 years, didn't treat my body all that well, and I just came to a point where, I think I knew it, but I just hadn't gotten around to it. I knew I had to do something about my health. Now, I wasn't suffering from any health conditions. There was nothing wrong. I've got a pretty strong constitution, I've come to find out. And for somebody that drank and ate like I did, I really had good health. I hardly ever got sick or whatever, but I'm intelligent, I'm educated. I knew you couldn't drink and live like I did for so many years and not have any consequences to it. I love the people that always love to throw the old story about of their damn granddaddy that's 100 years old that smoked and drank. They always pull that dead granddaddy or grandmom out of the closet when you talk about this stuff. Oh, he drank a quart of whiskey every day, smoked a pack of cigarettes, and lived to be 107. Those people are the exception, not the rule. So, yeah, I just had finally gotten to a point where I knew there was going to be a bill to be paid for how I treated my body. In January of 2012, I mostly stopped drinking. I'll tell you why mostly in just a little bit. I had had a couple of bad binges, and I just had enough. So I said, this is the time. So I stopped the booze. A week later, I stopped the cigarettes. And I just started on this health journey. It had nothing to do with raw or vegan or any of that stuff in the beginning. I just, I was searching all kind of, just Google, like I do now, Googling, and searching on YouTube for liver, effects of alcohol on the liver, ways to reverse that, ways to make my liver healthier. I looked all through antioxidants. I read about this, I read about that. And for between January of that year and June, not even knowing about veganism, I was starting to reduce animal products. I was, slow. Let's fast forward. I finally went vegan in June of January 2012. All during that time, like I say, I didn't know it, but I was transitioning during that time. Because it was just natural instinct to me. As I was getting cleaner, as I was trying to lose a few pounds, just get healthier, get more, fresh food in my lifestyle, I had stopped. I had cut way, way back on meat, way back on all animal products. I was probably having meat maybe 2-3 times a week, and they had smaller portions down in Costa Rica. Yes, I still was in the whole protein thing, and I would have eggs, and I would have omelets with cheese from time to time. But I was starting to eat a lot more fruits and vegetables. I was having more smoothies. I was having more salads. I was cooking vegetables at night. So I was starting to move in that direction. Let myself dry out for a while. The reason I said I'll come back to that is I stopped drinking in January. Well, around March, wherever it was that my research was leading me, I came across the thing like most people do. Oh, 1 glass of red wine a day is great for your heart. So I started drinking red wine again. But I stuck to what I was saying. I was just doing it strictly because it was supposedly good for you. 1 glass a day. 1 glass a day from about March until June. Then, I don't know, just one weekend, how you go down that rabbit hole, like if you're on a Facebook or social media and somebody shares something and you click on it and it takes you to their site and they're reading it and you see something and you click on this, tick, 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 boom. I stumbled onto some videos about the raw vegan lifestyle. Why did I why I went raw vegan? Because it made immediate sense to me, just like that. In that one instance, in that weekend. Now, I'm not going to tell you I did everything perfect. I'm not fully raw now. I was, I was finding my way back then, but it was raw. I understood. I understood why this made sense. Started, read the China study. Then I really started understanding this plant-based thing. And from that weekend, it made such a profound impression on me that I was like, okay, that glass of wine, boom, it was gone. And from that day forward, June of 2012, haven't had a drink since. Haven't wanted a drink since. Don't see myself ever wanting one since. But then, June 16th, I went down the rabbit hole of this raw food diet. Now I made a lot of mistakes in the beginning. I wasn't eating near enough in the beginning. In fact, it got to a point that every time I stood up, I was lightheaded and I had to be careful of, make sure I held on to something. And then I countered that when I got just crazy skinny with eating tons of potatoes and pouring olive oil and stuff on that. But anyhow, everybody has to find their way. That's not the point of things right there. The raw part of it made sense. So from then on, I've started educating myself. I learned more and more. Now, why do I stay raw vegan? I stay raw vegan for the obvious reason, or the obvious reason to me. It works. It works. I can't spit and explain all that stuff like some of these people can. Well, okay, but if the protein, you get this and the amino acids break down and you have blah, 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 and they're just wow, blah, blah, blah. Sound like a professor. I can't retain stuff. I can't sit here and tell you, well, it's because this, and this. I just know. I know by how I feel. I know by how my digestion is, my elimination. I know by my energy level. I know by the fact, listen, this is something kind of perverted that drinkers do, or that I did. You get used to feeling like shit. Sometimes you get so used to it that when you get out of it, you're like, God dang. I remember some of the first mornings I woke up without a hangover and I was like, what the hell is this? I know by how I feel. I'm 54 years old. I came to this lifestyle, 6.5 years ago when I was 48. I have never, ever, ever, ever felt like this in my life. Not when I was a child. Just like I say, I've got endless energy. And I couldn't tell you in the 6.5 years that I've been a raw vegan that I've been sick. Back in the earlier days, and I better knock on some wood here or I'll jinx myself in the winter, I think I had some minor colds, but I even noticed that I got rid of them faster. But over the past 6.5 years, other than just having a day where I just kind of generally was like, didn't feel great, I haven't been sick. Now, let me be fully transparent about that. I was not a sick person before. I didn't get sick a lot, even when I was putting all kind of garbage into my body. So it's just, you have to make this journey your own thing. You can't really listen. You can't just constantly listen to me. You can't listen to this other and their experiences. You have to feel your way through it. You have to get down in the dirt, get your hands dirty. So what? You're going to feel bad. You're going to make some mistakes. That's part of moving through this thing. But once I kind of figured things out, I got way too skinny, and then I started having to work. That when I got way too skinny, I think that was when I really knew that I had to be the one leading the ship on this raw vegan thing, and I couldn't just listen to a bunch of other people, because I don't remember who it was, but everything back then I was seeing was juicing, and people that didn't. And not once again, you juicers, Jesus Christ, y'all are like a cult. Don't come preaching me about juicing. Juicing's great. But I was watching people, I think, or just had stumbled into this whole thing of where that's what these people's main thing was. It was juicing. They weren't eating a lot. They were constantly, and that's maybe why I talk about it now, constantly doing fast and feast. And everybody was scrawny and skinny. And that's why I got so scrawny. I mean, I'm not a big fella now, but I'm 6'2", and I got down to about 143 pounds. So that was about the time too, you know, after I'd been into this lifestyle about 6 months, 7 months, I was kind of like taking over for myself. In other words, 6, 7, 8 months into this lifestyle, I was still watching some videos, but I was not just consuming randomly. I started knowing the names. I started knowing where to look. You know, I started looking at real sources because the woo-woo shit was never going to resonate with me. If that was all you got to convince me with, in fact, that kind of turns me off on this lifestyle. But that's a part of another show where everything. Oh, I healed it. People, you know, no, don't. And that hurts a movement when people exaggerate things like, oh, the raw food diet will cure anything. It'll make anything better. Chop your arm off. You can grow an arm back. Ridiculous. So yeah, about 6 or 8 months into this journey, I took over, and I've been in charge ever since. And I find information I need. I don't mean that I haven't taken, knowledge from other people, but I've been the captain of my own ship. So anyhow, that's just why I went vegan, and that's why that's why I went raw vegan. That's why I stay raw vegan. And I will not change what I'm doing. I'll make little tweaks here and there, but there's no way I'm going to major change or overhaul my diet when I feel so good. That would be stupid. That would make no sense. No sense to stop doing what you're doing when you feel really good. So anyhow, had some new people lately. Somebody had asked me just the other day what my story was, so I just thought I'd talk a little bit about that today. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.